This is our protagonist, Ryu. He's a boxer in his prime, and he can beat every opponent, even as so much as going towards professional opponents and having them struggle against him. He does so well in boxing that he goes around school and he can bully anyone. It isn't until we meet Injay that we find out that he's quite a small, lonely nerd character. He doesn't have many friends and he struggles to talk to people. He gets pushed around a lot by Ryu because obviously he can, and we see Injay meeting someone else, another character. This is Yu. Now, of course, Ryu's the protagonist.
Right. Yu generally gets bullied a lot as well. Injay one day sees Ryu being bullied, so he tries to step in, but obviously he gets knocked down.
Ryu's a boxer, whereas Injay has never boxed once in his life. It isn't until we see Yu sitting on the ground, seeing Injay, his new friend, just getting beat. But it's not the fact that Injay gets beat, the fact that he gets up after getting beat, then he gets hit again, then he gets up again. This gives you the inspiration to K is another character. He's a trainer and he's walking around the school and he sees Yu being bullied. He realizes just by looking at his eyes that Yu can easily see the punches and knows how to dodge them, but refuses to. Yu asks K one simple question: is hitting people fun? This is a web novel called Boxer. It's quite a dark, lightly twisted form of boxing where you don't see any real martial arts manga taking this sort of approach. Hokkaido is the real only boxing manga I can think of which is recent, which takes this sort of approach. When I say Ryu was the protagonist before, it kind of feels like Injay is actually the protagonist, but it's not. Yu is the protagonist. Yu gets up and beats Ryu with a single blow. He has never had boxing experience in his life, it's only sheer talent. Now, the line between talent and hard work has been talked about many times in many different videos, but this is another level. He's already got complete dominance over someone who should have much more expertise and experience than him. We later see that Yu starts getting trained by K. K is a world-renowned trainer. Every person he has trained has done incredibly well in their career. He kind of creates a beast out of Yu. We slowly see throughout the series we get introduced to more and more characters, and each time Yu is about to fight in boxing, he's about to fight someone tougher and harder. We always get a backstory of each of the characters that he faces. We understand what he needs to do against them, what the guidance that K gives him is, and we see slowly he goes up in weight classes, he fights harder opponents, but every single time he has nothing but dominance. This web novel is really nice. I ended up reading in the first 3 chapters when it came out, and I think this is the first time I've actually paid money to continue reading a web novel. I paid money to read further after the first 3 chapters. The art and the aesthetic and the general appeal of every single character. The fact that it feels like you could lose at any point just due to how tough his opponents are every time, and the fact that you see their backstory and what they've had to face to get to the position they're in. It makes it so much more endearing to keep reading. This webtoon is over, so you can essentially read it in a single day. It does have a spin-off series following Injay, which I haven't necessarily started reading, but Injay in himself did feel like a main character. Although Yu was the main character, if it wasn't for Injay's resilience and trying to fight against Ryu at the very beginning of the manga, Yu would never have started boxing. It is quite a interesting novel in the sense that you don't really get a necessary main character. There is obviously so many different aspects of this, and when you think there's just one main character, you realize no, there's several. One of those being K as well. K the trainer ends up manipulating Yu in more aspects than just one. You don't realize till later how he's doing it until they make it more obvious. He is quite a psychological killer, and the fact that he'll do anything to win, and Yu just has to go with this. Yu's got quite a harsh, dark backstory, and he's never really had anyone to root for him. So seeing one person at least rooting for him, I guess, makes him blinded to all the things that K is doing. He hasn't got really an aspect of what's good and what's not, and every punch has such an impact. It's crazy. It feels so satisfying. The ending is good. It does eventually give you a satisfying ending. It does eventually show all of Yu's backstory and what's happened to him, but I don't want to spoil any of that because the series is like a must read for me. Every single part of this just works. Even if you aren't into martial arts or sports, it isn't really about that. Yu's level of strength is unfathomable in real life perspective, but his just raw talent and the opponents he faces and the character development he gets is just so fun to see. He doesn't know how to act because he hasn't been raised to know how to act. He is just working on his own and trying to figure it out as he goes.